Alright, so this is a very quick tutorial for new players to Kurtzpel, since I do think that currently there are a lot of players, especially new players again to Kurtzpel, that don't really know what they're supposed to do in the game, and I'm hoping that this little tutorial will help you, maybe not direct you specifically, but give you some guidance as to what you should be doing, or just give you the options that are available for you. So essentially I'll be going through each of the icons you see on the screen. If you look at the bottom, you'll see a big row of columns down there. And I'll also show you some places in the lobby that are really important as a new player to Kurtzpel. And again, I'll just be going very briefly over each function and stuff like that, because again, there's so much to go over, and I could go into each part pretty detailed, but as a new player, you shouldn't really need to worry about the details for now. So, as it is, we'll start out with the K key. If I hit the K key, it brings me up the Karma info screen. And this is where all of your karmas, or classes, as you would call them in other games, this is where your class skills are. And as you can see here, there's different levels for each class, and you will have to unlock these. You don't start out with level 4 like you see here. Actually, this is just because I've had this character for a little while, so I've unlocked up to level 4. But if I go to Cannon, for example, which you can even see at the top, it's level 1. I guess I should signify that all of these icons at the top represent each class that is currently in the game. Again, going from Sword Talia, Diabolic Witch, Dance of Wind, Dual Souls, Blazing Fist, Sacred Guardian, and Fallen Light. Or Cannon, as we like to call it. And as you can see, my Cannon is level 1. All of these skills are locked, as my Cannon is not level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and so on. And in order to level up your class or karma, you will need to increase your AP, and you can see this AP bar up here. AP stands for affinity points. Again, you need to max out this, and then you will unlock the next level, and thus the next set of skills. So, for example, if I go back to my Sword Talia here, you'll see all these skills. I can unlock any of these. However, do realize that these do cost CP and DP, which you'll see in the top left screen. It's a really important resource right now for unlocking a lot of these skills, especially as a new player. So if you see like the stamina increase passive right here, if I have to unlock this, it requires some amount of CP, some amount of DP. So I'd have to grind those currencies essentially to unlock that passive. This is a more recent patch. They made it so that you don't have to unlock these in sequential order. You can unlock these at any time you want. So again, I could immediately unlock the stamina increase, or I could go, say, and unlock this basic attack power increase all the way over here at level 4. There's no order to anything. You don't have to follow an order anymore. However, you do need to have that level unlocked. So if I have level 2 unlocked, I can't just go to a level 4 skill. Again, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Karma skill tab slash skill tree. As you can see here, though, there are other tabs, so we'll go over each one of those as well. Karma option. This is where you will essentially change your stats or socket your class. Similar to like Elsword with magic stones. In fact, it is a magic stone system in this game as well. Or in other MMOs, you can socket your equipment. In this case, you're socketing your class, essentially, and giving them stats. However, notice, and I'll go over here, which is level 1, it says you have to be level 3 with that class to unlock this. So if you're a new player, I wouldn't actually suggest you worry about this yet, and just try to level up your karma first, and then worry about stats later. In fact, in general, I won't be going into stats in this tutorial, so again, if you're a new player, honestly, you really shouldn't be focusing on stats yet. You want to focus on leveling up your karma first. And next we have the command info tab. This is where all your command strings are for each class slash karma. This is very useful, especially as a new player, if you want to figure out, what can my class do? Because each class has different commands. As you can see here, Cannon has like 6-7 commands, but if you compare that to something like Witch has quite a big list. I think it's maybe more upwards of like 12, 13, 14 commands that you can do. So each class is unique in that perspective. So do note that. And then the only other thing Actually, I forgot to say, if you click on a command, you'll see a video that shows up on the right side. That'll show you what the command looks like, which is useful. But so if we go over to the Karma Hero tab, this essentially shows the NPC that represents your karma. This isn't really too important for now. There's a little bit of story for each NPC. You can read it if you want. It's sort of interesting, but not, I don't know. That's up to whatever you want to do, so I won't be getting into that. So that's pretty much it for the Karma info screen, so we'll hit escape to get out of that. Next we have your profile. Now I have it set to U, but I believe on the default key bindings it is set to P. So I'm going to hit U, but you would want to hit P. And that'll bring up my manage character or profile as it would be used in other games. This is where your actual karmas are equipped, essentially. This is where you can equip your karmas by clicking here. You can then select which karma you want. So if I want hammer there, and I want maybe diabolic there, pretty simple stuff. Below these, you will see your ultimate skill. You can click there to select which ultimate skill you want, although my other one is locked. I believe same for this, so I can't really do much there. This is where your regular skills are. There's 6 of them in total, 3 for each. You always start out with 3, so at level 1 you will always start out, so for example my cannon's level 1, you will always start out with 1 ultimate skill and 3 normal skills. And then of course as you level up your karma, you will get access to the other 3 skills that are currently locked, and even the other ultimate skill. So do keep that in mind. And then of course you have, these are where the normal passive skills are. Originally they were called sub-karma crystals, now they're called normal passive skills. These just are passives. They affect these skills, these 3 skills specifically, either by like enhancing their damage, decreasing their cooldown, even resetting their cooldown, all that type of stuff. The only one that's a bit special is this one, which is damage increased rage, which this increases the damage of your ultimate skill, not any of these 3 skills, so do keep that in mind. And then the only other thing we have left is your basic stats down here, your physical, magical defense, your health, your attack damage, or just how much damage you deal in general. And then if you hit the details, you'll get a lot more specific stats, like movement speed, casting speed, action speed, your critical speed, casting speed, action speed, your critical rate, exactly how much magical attack or physical attack you do, bunch of very, very specific stuff. And if you hit switch karma, you'll see what your other karma stats are as well. You'll see which one is highlighted in blue is the one you're currently looking at. So that's pretty much it for that. Hit the details button to get out of that. So you'll notice that there's 3 other tabs here. There's rank. Rank is really basic. This shows you what rank you are currently in the game, starting from E stage 1 all the way up to G stage 3. Each rank has 3 different stages, and as you progress up the ranks you do get greater rewards, although in this case you really only get rewards if you're in A, S, or G, as you can see down here. These are the end of the season rewards, so do keep that in mind. And details will bring up your win rates for all the 3 different main game modes, certain ratios like how many wins you get, total win rate, recent kills, or your KD ratios, stuff like that, all that stuff. Yeah. Next we have the equipment tab. This just shows you what equipment you currently have. This is actually where you select your weapon for your karma. So there is a separation between karma and weapon. Weapon you can think of as like the costume for your karma. So for example, I have the hammer weapon, or I have the hammer karma equipped, but I need to select an actual weapon costume. So I can select, I have a couple of costumes that I could use, but I can select like this hammer by right clicking, or I could change it to this hammer. But notice if I go back to my karma tab and I switch this back to sword, it changes that slot, and now I would select between any of the swords that I have. So now I could select back to this, or change it to something like this. Either way. So these are where your karma costumes are. Down here are where your basic costumes are. So your top piece, bottom piece, undergarment, gloves, shoes, all that stuff. Accessory slots are down here. Again, I'll talk to you about a little bit later about where you can see the stuff to fill in these slots, because they are important for stats. Again, I wouldn't recommend that you actually care about them as much yet. Mainly you should focus on leveling up your karma, as I said. Emotes, pretty simple. You get a wheel of emotes, and you can edit any of these emotes that you have. You start out with a basic 6, and you can click to change which or where you want the emotes to be. You can even unequip, stuff like that. All cool stuff. Status motion, this is where you would equip essentially a personality or a animation motion type of thing. Right now, I believe you can only get these from a box, or you can buy them from the premium item mall or item shop, so I wouldn't really worry too much about this either as a new player. Although, notice if you do want to activate your emotes and stuff like that, you will want to hold down control and you will see this wheel pop up. If you're using mouse, you can just move your mouse in the direction of the emote you want to select, and you will then do said emote. So that's pretty much it for the profile. And now if you hit I, this will bring up your inventory. This is where all your costumes will be for each karma. This is where your costumes will be for your top pieces, bottom pieces, undergarments, all that stuff. Accessory tab for all your accessories that you can equip. And a unique tab, which is where all of your materials that you pick up, any type of dyes, yeah, pretty much every, oh, and also emotes. Anything miscellaneous that doesn't go into either of these 3 tabs will go over here. So yeah, that's pretty much it with inventory. If you hit R, a couple options show up: challenge, friend, and guild. If you click on challenge, it brings up seasonal rewards. If you complete seasonal challenges, you can level up your seasonal level, and then with each level comes a different anything from CP to magic stones to some loot boxes that you can obtain every 10 levels. At the bottom here, you'll notice some golden prizes. These are part of a season's pass that you can buy from the premium item mall, so you do need money, or you do need to pay to unlock these bottom rewards, which you can see here by purchasing the season pass. On the left side, you'll see a couple tabs. You'll see rank. These are the achievements that increase your SP or seasonal progress / level. So these are just the rewards. You can click on them to get a little bit more information. Usually they don't really give you that much more information, but they're there. And so there's achievements for rank. There's achievements for PvP in general. Achievements for PvE. Yeah, also PvP is called Probatio. So just keep that in mind, and PvE is monster. That's how I like to remember it. So yeah, you have PvE achievements, and you have individual or specific karma-based achievements for each class. So there's all that. And then if you look up at the top, there are these achievements, but there's also a daily achievement or challenge that you can do, which also greatly ranks up your seasonal progress. Usually it's 2 things that you have to do each day. In this case, it's revive your ally 1 time and KO 3 enemies in a battle mission or PvP mission 3 times. And if you do that, you'll get a magic stone, and you'll also get some seasonal progress, which will increase your seasonal level. Each week, there's also a weekly challenge, which is a slightly more, I don't want to say difficult, but longer / more tedious objectives that you need to complete in order to get the weekly challenge complete. And as you can see, it has even greater increase for your seasonal progress, and this greatly helps you upgrade your seasonal level as well. And then there's the event tab. There would be achievements / challenges for an event, but there isn't an event going on right now, so there's nothing here currently. But in an event, there would be stuff here, and you could get rewards like emotes, costumes, maybe a couple more things, accessories, who knows. Then if we hit escape, hit R again, go to the friend tab. This is where all the basic friend stuff is. You have a friend list where you can see who's online, who's offline, that are your friends. You have recommended friends. This works based off on who you've played with recently. A bunch of people who could be potential friends will show up. So for example, if I play PvP with somebody and I think that they were a really great partner, I can friend request them from here. And then you can get friend requests from the friend request mailbox, and you can accept them there. So I hit escape again, hit R, and then the last one is guild. Again, very basic. This is where you can create guilds. This is where you can search up guilds as well. You can see what guilds are currently active. You can even click on the guild info, view all that stuff. You can even view what members are in there, and you can even click on a member, see their chaser info, and see, what are they using, what is their equipment, what is their rank, all that good stuff. Yeah, that's essentially it for the guild tab. And then one thing also I want to note is you can see your challenges are always shown on the right side of the screen here as well as the challenge button here, which will lead you to the same seasonal level menu that we were on before. So next we have the F key. The F key is just moving channels. You can move to different channels this way. You just hit F and then you click on the channel you want to move to, and then you just move there. Next we have P. So P is, I'm not really going to go into this at all. This is your item mall, your premium item mall shop. This is where you can get costume sets, weapons. This is where you can get the stances, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, so pretty basic. This uses real life money, of course, so do keep that in mind. Yeah, so there's that. You can buy boosters in here as well, things, but again, I'm not going to get too much into detail. Alright, next up we have, so next up it shows, you'll see something that says left control. That just brings up the emote menu that I was talking about earlier. If I hold down control, it brings up the emote. So that's all I was talking about. Enter is just chat. You can chat here, you can type, hit enter, do whatever, say whatever. Speak to people in the lobby, stuff like that. If you're in a party as well, if you hit tab, you'll enter the party chat, and then if you're in a guild, you can hit tab again, and you'll go to a guild chat as well. So do keep that in mind. The only other thing left is the escape button. So if you hit escape, you'll notice a couple options. Character list will take you back to the character list you'll see when you start up the game. Steam inventory you don't have to worry about. Marketplace you don't have to worry about. Both of these places, they're still alive and they're still operating right now, but they will be replaced in the future and are currently not being used really. I don't want to say they're used, but you don't need to focus on this as a new player, so don't worry about these two things. Settings are where you can adjust your settings. Pretty simple. Exit game, exits the game. Pretty basic. This help button down here is really important, especially for reporting players, because a lot of people I know ask about how do I report a player. Here is how you do it. You hit help, a small menu will pop up. I don't actually know if you can see this on the recording, but a small menu will pop up. Right now it's currently loading. So here there are two options, FAQ and one-on-one inquiry. If you want to report a player, you can hit one-on-one inquiry. And then once you hit one-on-one inquiry, you'll say type of your inquiry, which is a bit of weird wording, to be honest. Essentially it's just asking what type of thing are you looking for. If you click here, you'll notice there's a couple things: game/event, report a bug, technical, report a player, feedback, others. Report a player is this is where you should report a player. You click the report a player option, and then it asks you for a bunch of information that will be useful for reporting players and all that stuff. If you right click anywhere outside of this, you can close the tab for that. So do keep that in mind. If you think somebody's cheating or doing something inappropriate, or they could be breaking the rules, you can report them that way. So now we will hit escape again to get out of that menu. And the only other thing I want to see, if you look at the bottom right, if you hit your Alt key, you'll enter mouse mode essentially. This will just allow you to move your mouse instead of your camera. This allows you to click everything on the screen, such as the event tab at the top left, which is an attendance event. You just get things each day for logging in, stuff like that. The other thing you'll see is the mission map. If you hit M, this is where all your missions are. So right now we have battle, monster, and custom mission, or PvP, PvE, and then custom mission is custom mission. There's not really another word I can use for that. Here you have duel mode and challenge mode. These are your two main PvP modes, and if you click on this, it gives you essentially the basics, or the basic description of what the duel mode is. As a new player, you should be starting out with this mode. It's actually the only mode you can start out with for PvP, and you'll notice it'll give you AP, CP, and DP, which it's important that you recognize the DP and AP will allow you to level up your karma, as well as unlock new skills later down the line. Here are a couple ingredients that you can get from doing these missions that'll be useful for crafting some stuff that I'll show you later on. And then you just hit the request mission to queue up for it. So dual missions, you can get 3v3 or actually 5v5. I know it doesn't specify here, but there are 3v3 and 5v5 games as well. And of course, in PvP, you have a random chance of doing either capture the flag, conquest, or a deathmatch. Again, it's just random which one you get. Challenge, as you can say, or as you can see, to be B rank or higher. Challenge is specifically 2v2. It says 4 chasers, it's 2v2. And it says even in the description here. Rewards are pretty much the same, although note that this is you can get magic stones from doing the challenge mode. So keep that in mind. Then over here we have the monster tab. 3 different levels of PvE that you can do is Scout, Annihilation, and Raid. Notice though that your Karma has to be a certain level before you can enter the next. And so with each one, again, you get AP, CP, and DP, as well as you can get some item drops or cubes, and these can, if you open a cube, you are guaranteed to get an accessory from the box from the list of accessories shown on screen. I don't actually know what the drop rate for getting the box is. As far as I know, it's pretty low though, so do keep that in mind. But one other thing to note is that as you increase in difficulty for PvE missions, the DP amount goes up. So for example here, DP is +2. If I go to Annihilation, DP is +4, and then finally Raid, DP is +10. And you also get magic stones, and you get different cubes as well, which is nice. And you also get higher CP and higher AP, so do keep that in mind. Then we have custom missions. Not going to get too much into them. You just create a mission, and you can invite friends to it and have them join, and you can play against each other without worrying about rank or anything else like that. It's just for fun. So that pretty much covers that. And now the last thing really I'm going to do is just go over some very important areas in the lobby. I'll be going counterclockwise for my position. So as I move over this way, you'll see this thing called Hilbert. If I hit space, I know it says interact is C for me, but on the default keybinds it's space bar. So if I hit C, there's 2 options, extraction and synthesis. Synthesis is where you can essentially craft a bunch of items. Now you'll notice if I click on weapon synthesis, and if I click on like a weapon or something, these are the ingredients that you can get from playing PvP. So if you grind out PvP, you can use it to craft these costume pieces, which can change your karma, or you can craft a weapon costume, or top piece, bottom piece, accessories. There's nothing in the special synthesis, and the event is all the end of season rewards, so don't worry about this either as a new player. Next, we'll go back, and there's an extraction tab. This is like dismantling. You can dismantle weapon, costumes, outfits, accessories, and if you do that, you'll get magic stones, which you can use for stats on your costumes, accessories, etc. Next, we have the Tome of Knowledge. This is where you can essentially, this is where you change your stats for weapons, costumes, and accessories. You just like click on whatever it is, and then you do reroll option, and this is where you will use magic stones. Again, I'm not going to get too much into this stat system thing, so just keep that in mind. You can also dye here. You can dye your weapons different colors and stuff like that here as well. Do note though that there is no way to obtain dye currently right now, so I will get to that later. That I think will eventually be changed, but as of now there's currently no way to change the color of your weapons as a new player, unless you pull off the Steam market, but again, you don't have to worry about that. Next we'll move on to over here. There's actually nothing up there. There used to be stuff up there, there's now nothing up there anymore, so you don't have to worry about there. Here, well first there's Ensure Reinhardt. She doesn't actually do anything, so you don't have to worry about her. This is the mission map. It's actually the same thing as pressing M, it just leads you to the mission map. So again, if you don't want to travel all the way over here, you can just hit M. Over here is a mailbox. Any type of attendance event rewards or rewards from other type of events, they will show up here. You can just click on the mail to receive the item or whatever, or you can hit the receive all that stuff. Pretty basic. If we go over here to the Stone of Honor, this is where essentially the leaderboard is. You can see who is in what position on the leaderboard, what their rating is, what karmas they use. If you click on them, you can view their profile, their equipment, their karma, build, and their rank, as well as their rating. You can also, if you look at the top, you can actually change the season, so you can see what people were in previous seasons, to see how they ended up doing there and all that stuff, and see how maybe the meta's changed over time. So that's pretty much it for that. Then we have Krimpli, or Ply, I don't really know how you pronounce her name. This is the CP shop. It is different from the item mall or the premium item mall. You can use an in-game currency, again the CP, to buy stuff here. This is where you can get weapon costumes, although notably the weapon costumes aren't that great looking, but maybe that's personal preference. But yeah, so you can get costumes here, you can buy costumes, pieces here. There's actually some good costumes here that you can get. You can get shirts, pants, an undergarment, all that type of stuff. There's an accessory for each slot, so this is where you would get the accessories using CP, and there's again one for each slot, all the way from hair top to belt. And then there's this unique tab. Now the unique tab currently has nothing in it, however as you can see it is supposed to have dye in it. There's currently nothing here, but I do think that this is where the dye is supposed to be when it does come back. Again, I don't know when they plan on putting it back in the game, but it should end up here. But yeah, you don't have to worry about the unique tab for now. And then finally, or second to last, we have the supply box. You really don't have to worry about this. You can buy advanced supply boxes in the item mall. It even says you can purchase them here. This is just where you open them. You can also preview items you can get from the loot box, so there's also that. But that's pretty much it with that. And then we have the training grounds. So the training grounds is where you can essentially practice combos, skills, all that stuff in a lagless sort of environment with a dummy. This is really good for practicing, again, like I said, practicing combos and certain skills and chaining stuff together and all that. It's really nice for practice and stuff like that. You can also enter the training room if you're queuing up for a mission and waiting, so this is just good practice while you're waiting. But and as you can see, if you look at the top left and top right of my screen, it shows me some of the commands I can use, and on the top left there's also some combos that I can do, although I will say the combos that it shows you on the top left screen are not combos you probably should be doing as a new player. They're not really that great, so I would just either watch tutorials online, watch what other players do, or just learn by playing the game and maybe even come up with your own creative combos, who knows. But I would not follow the combos on the top left. But that's pretty much it with the training grounds. I will hit escape to leave the training grounds. And that pretty much covers it for Kurtzpel. Again, there's a lot more I could get into. I could be a lot more specific in a lot of things, and especially the stat system, which I didn't really go over. But for now, I think this is a very good basic overview of all the functionalities in the game and stuff like that are important as a new player to Kurtzpel. So I hope this helped you, or I hope that this will help you as a new player, or even if you're a returning player and you just knew everything's sort of been changed after the January 15th patch. So maybe you're returning and you want to know where things are, how things are working out now. Hopefully this video can also help, or has also helped you with that. So anyway, guys, I hope this has again been helpful, and I usually don't upload videos that often, so don't expect to see another video from me for a while, but you know, who knows, maybe I will start uploading more. I'm not sure, but anyway, see ya.